Something messing up, the stream would still be on, I would think.
Yeah,
Unless it's connected.
I think somehow we lost connection, but it was actually frozen on my machine too, so that's weird. It was
Right.
like broken. But I think we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, that was an interesting take.
We are indeed back.
All right, so resolving the dice, pretty straightforward this time. 6 total, a D8. So it was 6 total with a D8 effect. I think you both beat a 6, though, right? Both of you did. So yep. Kenji beat it by 11. So you actually have a Kenji, despite rolling a 1, you get a D6.
Up, yeah?
Yep, you get to step up the D4 effect for a D6 effect. So
cool, very nice.
And Cole, you also succeed, but there is also a little bit of a complication your way. You managed to. What would you guys have done? Would you have tried like a security thing, or what? Would you have tried to breach the security? What did you roll? You rolled covert, both of you.
Yes.
I think the only way we could probably justify this is you scaling the walls.
That's fine with me. Oh, my nice suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I think Cole gets a bit caught up at the top of, but you manage to break free. So there's no actual complication that lingers, like it's not like you sprained something or anything. Just a bit of a challenge.
I think
with the barbed wire at the top.
I think as they get to the bottom, noticing Kenji is gone, it has gone ahead and has done a better job at scaling it. But we'll just turn to him, the sour look, go. It's not a race. Despite the fact that it was.
Still only counts as 1. Yeah.
What? No, of course I wasn't trying to compete with you.
No, of course not.
Does it make it worse? Did it make it worse that he said I wasn't trying?
Let's go on.
It's about that time that both of you kind of turn back forward to look around, and you see a young girl standing right in front of you. She has blonde hair and they're braided. She looks to be somewhere between like 6 and 8 years old. She looks to the 3 of you, or to the 2 of you rather, and she says, Cole and Kenji, right?
Oh. He kind of looks at Cole and he goes, well, that's Cole, but I don't know who Kenji is.
Wow. Really?
At this point, she turns and says, come on, they're waiting for you.
Oh, I see. He kind of looks at Cole again. He goes, what, you're expecting us?
Well, not really expecting. I just knew you were coming.
Oh, well, that explains it then. Shall we?
At this point, you see Madrix, just one of him, jump out, and he's like, hey, you're not going anywhere without me. And she's like, hey, James.
Oh, fuck. Oh, this has immediately gone worst possible direction.
It's immediately gone wrong. It's Cole just hand in face shaking his head.
We might be able to catch Wolverine. The only thing that this plan relies on is that they don't know that we're here.
Yeah.
You're led into the warehouse. Scene kind of changes. It doesn't look reinforced. Doesn't look anything special. But you do actually go down into like almost like a sub layer of it. And down there, it looks like things have been reinforced. Not super advanced tech like the danger room or anything like that. Just definitely have built some kind of tunneling under here.
Is this where you live, or you just visiting?
Well, I'm just visiting, but others live here.
I see.
Yeah. Do either of you have tech at novice or above?
Novice is a D6?
Yeah.
Yep.
Then no.
Yes.
Okay. Mark, go ahead and give me a tech roll.
Alright.
This is probably truth.
Okay. I think
Hey,
that works.
James. This is very good.
Any of my distinctions count this? I'd say cool under pressure. Like, the situation is not a good one to be in, but he's kind of being calm and focusing on the environment instead of freaking out.
Yeah, sure. Works for me.
Alright. Relevant specialties, yeah. 6. Relevant powers. My god, another goddamn 1!
I'm not gonna buy it, so you're good.
Sure.
That's a 9. D4.
So
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah, that
you're
beats me.
So you end up walking down what looks like 5 or 6 flights of stairs, like metal reinforced stairs in this hallway. You didn't think to check until you get to the bottom, but you get to the bottom, and Cole, you look at your phone and you realize there's no service. There's no way for you to flag back. So your plan to contact has just been screwed.
Well, this is gonna be fun. All thanks to himself. He puts his phone in his pocket. Continues forward.
You end up in what looks like a bit of like almost like barracks, like military barracks, right? And you see a few figures you don't recognize. You walk past them, and you end up in a room with 3 others. There's the blonde, who, by the way, as you're approaching, she says, "Oh, I'm Layla, by the way."
Well, nice to meet you, Layla.
At this point, you enter the room to see the 2 fugitives that were mentioned previously, and a third figure who definitely catches your eye. You spot Luke Cage, or at least certainly someone that looks a lot like him. Someone that definitely strongly resembles James Howlett, the Wolverine. And last but not least, the woman that catches your eye is... I don't think you would recognize her. Let me think about this. You would. I think she's a bit of a public figure herself, just from the business aspect. Actually, that's perfect. Do either of you have? Yep. Why don't you go ahead and give me a business test to see if you know Emma Frost or not. Maybe you know her from your business transactions prior to.
Certainly hope I do. I'm going to say that money with no meaning will help me on this, because I am constantly engaged in that sector of those things. I do not have a relevant power or relevant assets or strength. I got a 1. Fuck.
There's a lot of ones being tossed out.
A lot of
I feel
ones.
like we've done a 1 almost every roll. Like,
I've got a 13 otherwise, though.
Okay. Doompool only got an 11, so you succeed with a D4. You know Emma Frost by name and photo. She's a famous, woman and businessman or business person. She's someone who you know by her reputation as being a bit ruthless when it comes to getting her way in across everything. But she's kind of fallen out of the limelight ever since she married that Scott Summers.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah.
Oh. I think Kenji knows her purely on the way that you stay on business is you don't interact with her. You make sure she doesn't know who you are, and that's good enough for you.
Mm-hmm.
Kenji kind of cocks his head and keeps quiet for a moment. He'll let them do introductions.
Anything from Cole in this scenario?
Cole's just quietly looking over the roof. At this moment, looking for potential exits, other than the way they came, because he does not like this situation.
You don't see anything obvious, but you're welcome to make a roll if you want to kind of look for opportunities here.
No, I think I'll leave it good for now. I think it's generally
okay. At this point, Luke Cage walks forward. He looks down at Layla and says, "Are these the three?" And she says, "Yep." He looks over to the others, and Emma just shrugs at him, like confused. As far as you know, it seems very weird. Like if you were told yesterday, Kenji, that Emma Frost, Luke Cage, and James Howlett were hanging out, you'd like roll your eyes. It wouldn't even
be
make
whacked.
sense.
Yeah. Charmed. It's delightful to meet all of you. We've kind of seem to have found our way into a situation where lying about why we're here would be pretty pointless.
At that point, Emma steps forward and says, "Yes, well, works out that way sometimes. So forgive the situation, but it is important that Mystique and her force doesn't interrupt our meeting here. We need all the allies we can get, and the three of you are now a part of this, whether you like it or not."
I see. Because Layla told you that would be the case, Miss Frost?
When you say those words exactly, her and Luke exchange this long look at each other, and she nods. Exactly.
Quite a lot of faith you have in the child.
I don't rely on faith, Mr. Akiyama. I read minds.
Oh, she knows my name. That's bad. I know she knows my name, but still, I don't like that. It makes me very nervous. I suppose so. Strong instincts do make for strong continuity, I suppose. Cool. Would you like to make the arrest, or are we going to continue this conversation like this?
I will admit I find this situation quite strange. For one, why would you think we would ever, betray the House of Magnus?
At this point, Wolverine steps forward, James Howlett. He's not dressed in that garb, simply a leather jacket and blue jeans and boots.
Of course he is.
Even that outfit isn't his standard. You would see him typically in, like, anytime he's been on, he's been a more your standard t-shirt and jeans kind of guy, not rough around the edges like the guy standing before you right now. As he steps forward, he says, "You aren't betraying them. They already betrayed you. This isn't how it's supposed to be. None of it."
Kenji kind of cocks his head and goes, "That is typically how resistant groups tend to think. But you mean something more, don't you?"
Layla steps, kind of walks over to James' side and holds his hand. He seems a bit off-put by that. And she says, "Yeah, a lot more. Like none of this is really real. I mean, it's real right now, but it shouldn't be."
I thought I was following, but I suppose I'm not. What does that mean, exactly?
Emma says, "It means, Mr. Yakiyama, that everything that you think is real right now isn't. Everything you wanted that moment that, well, the moment that it all happened, what you desired, what you maybe didn't even realize you desired, is true." With that, she throws a newspaper down in front of you. She kind of reaches behind her from the desk, grabs it, throws it down in front of you. And you see a picture of the famous Peter Parker. Seeing a picture of him is like seeing a picture of basically anyone famous in Hollywood right now. So it doesn't alarm you at all. Beside him is someone he's seen with often, his foster father and uncle, Ben Riley.
Ben Riley? Oh. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and to you as a character, Kenji, I mean, he spends a lot of time with. He always credits his uncle for his success.
Kenji kind of looks over the paper, and he'll kind of like reach out to pull it a little bit closer to him.
Mm-hmm.
And as he does so, he'll say, "The celebrity hero. Are we a fan club?" And while I'm doing that, while I'm touching it, I'd like to activate my psychometry power, if I may.
Oh, interesting. Please do. Because Emma was the last one who touched it.
Yes, that is what I am hoping. Hopefully, now she is a telepath. I don't know if I know that, but this is likely to backfire on me. Newspaper psychometry. I'm gonna try to spell that right. I'm going to use truth on this. I think that is fair. I think my effortlessly cool is going to help me here rather than hinder. And my specialty. What would you say a specialty would apply to this, sir? Psychology?
Yeah, we can go with psychology for this one.
Psychology, and I do have a relevant power, and it's a D8. All right. I do not have a relevant asset. I do not have any stress. They do not.
I want to
That's
check this dice
incredible.
roller.
That's incredible. Did I not roll 4 dice?
Yeah, what
'Cause that
do you,
was- I should have
truth,
rolled
help,
4, shouldn't I?
specialty, and yeah, you didn't use your power.
Yeah.
I
Did you add the power die?
tried to. This is the first time we've used a power. I'm gonna roll it again. We can take that first roll if we
Yeah.
want, but
No,
I
it's
just
fine.
did
You know, at this point, we're playing around with the system, so just re-roll the whole set.
yeah, truth.
I'm gonna give you a mulligan on this one because it's been so awful. These rolls.
Relevant power D8. Relevant asset, any stress. No, just rolled 3 again.
You added a relevant power D8.
I did.
Okay, just roll a D8 as well. Just do a roll 1d8.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my fear. I thought you guys had tested that while I was busy testing the other thing, but it's probably just
We
another.
tested literally everything except for the power.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, much better roll on my sake. That is, I rolled 4 d8s and I got 2 8s in it. So,
Okay.
I suppose I will take the max I can get there is 16, and then I will take an 8 effect.
All right. Well, I had an awful roll of a 4, a 1, and a 3, so 7. So yours will. You got a 16, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's almost 2 steps.
Yeah,
up.
but this is 1 step, right? So
Yep.
okay. So and
that'll
that's
still be a D10 effect.
D10. Yeah. All right. So you see a number of different images of the Spider-Man flash before your eyes, but you also see something that Emma is aware of and Emma knows, and Emma's read the mind of Peter Parker. Now that she's awakened to what's happening, you actually see a glimpse of a Peter Parker, a young Peter Parker, hunched over, tears out of his eyes as his Uncle Ben basically bleeds out before him on a sidewalk. You see flashes of and specifically you see Tobey Maguire and that Ben Riley. You see different glimpses, images of Spider-Man, images of J. Jonah Jameson talking about him being a menace to society, Peter losing Gwen Stacy and struggling to protect his Aunt May and Mary Jane Watson. All these people, they don't mean much to you, but you still get those glimpses and names, and you start to really come to see this different Peter Parker, almost alternate reality, where he is a masked hiding vigilante who has a terrible name with at least the newspaper or the press of New York City, and not at all the public hero, you know.
He kind of, as he, he tries to play it very cool as he, takes his hand off the paper, but there is a leftover impression of unease with him there. There's a feeling of just like something's out of place. And he kind of looks up at Emma and he goes, I see.
At that point, Layla says, I told you. Cole, you can tell that Kenji just did something, whatever he's done it at other
you
crime
his power.
sites. Yeah. That weird thing he does. Yeah.
He's probably explained how it works to Cole before in the past.
Yeah.
I don't know how long we've been partners, but
a while.
Yeah.
Cole probably has a file on you.
Kenji kind of leans back and looks at Cole and goes, I understand, I think, what's troubling you. What I don't understand is why you want to change it.
At that point, James Howlett, aka Wolverine, aka Logan, grunts and says, "None of this is real. Doesn't that concern you? None of this actually happened. And only myself and Layla over there remember. The only ones that remember what actually happened."
Feels quite real to me. I can still smell the fresh ink off of this paper that's in front of me. I feel chilly in this underground lair, and I have memories of a very long and complicated life. So what?
Sorry,
what
go ahead.
have you? So what have you seen that makes you wish to change what is, regardless of whether it's real or not?
Emma speaks up at that point. We've been manipulated, all of us, given a life better than the one we live, or at least one we craved, where we belong. If all of this is true, and I can assure you that both of them think the same thing, they know the same thing, we're in someone's fantasy, and we've been fed the right drug so that we don't break it.
You must admit, this is very hard to believe.
Kenji kind of like looks at Cole and he goes, "No. It actually makes quite a lot of sense." Cole, we've worked together for a very long time. Do you trust that I know what I'm talking about?
I've always trusted you, Kenji.
Can't
Though we
say-
may disagree and bicker, I know you are a good man at heart. But I also do not trust them.
I can't say that they're being honest, but there is some evidence in their favor. But Miss Frost, and forgive me if I'm overstepping my bounds by saying, are you suggesting that the reason you want to change things back to the way they are is a matter of pride? You don't like being put in this situation without your consent?
She goes to speak, and Luke interrupts her and says, "Doesn't it bother you? I mean, someone's fucking with our minds here. Someone's making us think that this is what's actually happening so they can get their way. And that someone is of the House of Magnus. Same people that I've been fighting for a while. I might not be able to see what she sees or he sees, or even she sees. But my gut tells me this is right."
I don't mean to sound dismissive, but I know how I feel about the subject. Whether or not it bothers me is irrelevant to what I asked, which is this a matter of pride? And you do make an excellent point, Mr. Cage, but as far as I can tell, you're not necessarily living the life that you might have wanted. So why is it that you drew the short end of the stick?
It's not exactly how that works. At least he looks to Emma, and then Layla speaks up and says, "Yeah, Luke's kind of right. I mean, you're kind of right too. It's more that in the moment this all happened, while he was in some trouble with the authority, this resistance, the fighting back against what was corrupt and wrong, was actually what he wanted at that time."
Monkey's paw, in a sense, then. What do you think, Cole?
I'm hearing a lot of hearsay. No evidence to prove a point.
Man's got a point. I've seen what I've seen, but even then, it's circumstantial. We are detectives, you know.
All right, and with that, I'm going to blow 2d8 from the Doom pool
Uh-oh.
and create a 2d8 security breach as the alarms begin to sound in the building, and you can hear gunfire. And Emma sighs and says, "Well, I was going to show you, but it seems we have unwanted guests." At that point, Luke is already moving over to what looks like a reinforced door and pressing a security code through to open it. And the others are preparing to leave too. James grabs a bag. Emma says, or before Emma speaks, Madrick says, "That's right. I told the others that if they didn't hear back from me in 20 minutes, they were supposed to report in."
I was about to say.
And at that point, Emma says to the three of you, she says, "It's your choice. You can come with us and I'll show you everything, or you stay behind here."
I believe that they believe it. Cole. For what it's worth.
Well, if they are telling the truth, then perhaps it would be good to see if that is the case. And if it is not, perhaps we will have an opportunity to take them down.
I am uncertain we'll get that opportunity. I think if we go with them right now, it's going to look a certain way to X-Force.
I love that kind of thing. I love looking back.
Regardless of the truth.
Well, we can't exactly let them get away now, can we?
An excellent point.
At this point, Emma turns around. She's the last one through the door, and she says, or no, it's Layla. That would make sense. Layla's like, "Well, are you coming or not?"
After you, James.
James looks uneasy. He says, I don't know about this, guys. I had a bad feeling."
Come now. You're always the best backup we can have.
Well, I mean, at least the other ones reported in, right? So it doesn't look like we're entirely breaking the... All right, let's just go. I'll figure out a way to explain this all later.
Yes.
If it helps, we're all making it up as we go now, so we can all make it up together.
All right. Through the door you go?
Through the door.
Yeah.
You find yourselves basically leading through the tunnels, and you end up in a jet by the end of it, and a hangar where the jet is, and you see everyone loading up into the jet.
Well, that might be overstepping the bounds a little bit.
Yeah. How likely do you think it is that they're telling the truth?
Telling the truth is somewhat complicated in this situation. I think that they believe that they're telling the truth. In fact, I'm certain of it. And
How much do you believe them?
I definitely see something that it's hard to tell. There's something strange. But Emma is... Do I know a little bit about Emma's power set in character? Is
Yeah.
that public knowledge? Yeah. Emma is a very powerful telepath, and it is entirely possible that her own belief could leave a residue on what I read. Her belief could have filtered the images, but they were quite vivid.
Surely, if she was lying, she'd come up with a more believable lie. Because this just seems strange. It makes no sense.
The one that really surprises me is Howlett. I get the impression that he's different. He's acting very much like he doesn't belong here. And for someone to turn so quickly and so completely, I think that there is a truth here. Though I'm uncertain of whether or not it's what they believe or something else entirely.
My instinct is telling me we need to follow this through. Something is happening here. It's connected.
If we stay here and don't get on that jet, it's unlikely we'll know for certain.
Well, I think there's only one thing we can do then.
The decision's been made.
Not.
And he, right before we start moving, Akiyama pulls out a coin and flips it, and it lands on heads. There he goes. Right, let's go.
James gives one long look back to the blast door that just closed, and the sound of the invading forces is explosions and cries and gunfire is heard behind you. He gives a longing sigh back to the safety, and then turns back to the jet. All right, if they say so. With that, Howlett, or not Howlett, Madrix comes along with the two of you. All right, and I think that is where we will conclude the prologue part 1.
Yay!
Because I don't think we have time for a full thing. We're going to close this off in probably the next episode, maybe one more. So we'll find some time for the three of us to get together and do that. I'm sure there'll be an opportunity. Any thoughts? What do you guys think of the experience? Technical difficulties aside.
This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. I'm looking forward.
Yeah. I'm sorry if I was hogging the screen type too much, Mark.
No, it's fine, man. I mean, again, I'm kind of still figuring out the character. I'm having him be pretty quiet in this case because, again, he doesn't really have much to grumble about at the moment.
I'm trying to find the space with Kenji too. There's a little bit of like I have an idea of him in my head, and then I also have an idea of like how he's being played, and I think I need to find a middle ground between the two because one how I have him in my head is too close to something else, and the how I'm playing him right now is I think a little bit more comfortable, but it's still just a little inconsistent for me, I guess. So, I was telling Mark Bob that last time I did this system, I ran it, and all of the people that ran the game with me, that played the game, they loved the hell out of it, and I was a little confused because I thought it was fun, but like not stellar.
Yeah.
And then playing in it now, I'm like, oh, I get it. This is a really cool system. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of more fun for the player than the GM. I agree. Like, from a GM perspective, having done this for a long time, it's just like, you know how you're sensitive when you're GMing to slowdowns and things like that, right? So when people are picking their
yeah.
dice pool and stuff, you're like, oh God, it's not working. But that's just, I think it's being sensitive to it, where they're like, oh, shiny. Like, it is what makes the system great is it's very flexible and allows you to kind of do anything you want, which is good in certain, I'd say, dramatic narratives. Like,
it's a lot of prep work, but it also, like, the payoff is really nice for the player when they can just sit back and, like, you know, like I got to use a little bit of strategy in picking what dice I use, but also, like, it's enough too that I don't have to think about it that hard too, you know. I can just kind of like let it go and have a good time. So I really am enjoying this. I was excited for it because I love you as a DM in general, and I was like, cool, but like I'm not a huge X-Man guy in general, so like playing it, I'm so hooked. I'm like, yeah, this is cool. This is really cool. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I think this will be a nice good intro, and then it will lead to the grittier District X bigger story. You know, where we have, like, I think I'll save people's individual roles, but we have 3 different groups, and I think this is setting the stage for all 3 to be interesting.
I think really so, especially because from different groups, Liam's character and I.
Yep. Yeah, you guys aren't even in the same. No,
we're from different groups.
That's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah. And there might be some crossover opportunities. Like, I haven't figured out the exact math, but it'll probably be like 6 or 8 episodes for each of the three groups, you know, games. So a few months of.
Oh, wait, I didn't realize the District X had different things. I thought it was all X Factor.
No.
Oh,
no,
that's cool
stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there will be some crossovers, as Bob had said.
Yeah.
Especially from what I think are 2 games. There's probably a lot.
Yeah, the 3 will be interconnected. It'll all be tied around one kind of bigger dramatic story. So.
Yeah, but I love having a connection to some degree, you know, with the character anyway. So very cool. Alrighty, great stuff, guys. I really enjoyed this a lot. Are we closing out?
Yeah, why don't we do some real quick outros? I don't think we have a lot to say, but we'll do that. I'll start first. So we'll be back to Pendragon next week, assuming we have the 4 we need. If not, maybe we'll close off this. I'm sure Thomas would be more than happy to play a cameo of some kind. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube at Ticking Time Bob, or you can find me here on Twitch. You can also find us on Discord. But I'll let someone else maybe bring it up. I've got nothing else to add. It's been fun to try something different than Pendragon on stream, and curious to see what kind of viewership we have for this. So if you do watch this and it entertains you, please let us know. It'll mean a lot and might change how seriously we take this District X thing in the future. Mark.
Oh, hi! I didn't see you there. I was just checking out our handy dandy Discord. By the way, did you know we have a Discord? Come check us out. I think you can find a link on our YouTube channel, I believe. It's up there. Where you can come see us, come chat with us in the chat, look at all the memes and shit posting we do. Yeah, come enjoy yourself.
We do a bit of that.
We do a lot of that. I've been Mark. I've been playing Cole Cooper. Join us next week, I think, when we're doing Pendragon. Whenever we do Pendragon again, I will be playing Sir Edward. And yeah.
All right, and Liam.
That was good. You catch me like you hit me like a freight truck every time you do that. I forget about it every time. Hi, everybody. I have been Liam. I was Kenji Akiyama today, and hopefully next week I will be Sir Dallin of Durnford in our Pendragon game. Do check that out. If you do come into the Discord, I am currently working on a DC tabletop RPG game set in the early days of Gotham City and Metropolis, Superman, Batman things. I'm holding auditions for that, so if anybody is interested in participating in such a thing, please inquire in the Discord and I will redirect you. But yeah, do that and come tune in next week because we're going to do some cool shit.
All right, and that is our game for the night. I hope anyone who is watching live has a good night, and we'll see you next week. Later.
Bye.